Okay, so it's a chilly morning here, and well, let's first say where we got to yesterday.
Okay, so yesterday we arrived in Caen, France, Caen, France.
And this morning we took an early train over to
Bayeux.
Bayeux,
Bayeux.
and then we've just taken a taxi to a place that probably both of us have always wanted to see. Wasn't really sure we would ever get an opportunity to do it, and here we are this morning. We are in Normandy, France, and we're going to take you along with us. We're actually at the American Cemetery this morning, so come along with us. Welcome to Retire to Rome. I'm LJ.
I'm Russell. We're retired, traveling full time.
On a budget and loving every minute of it. As you can see, we paid €880 per person for our train ticket from Caen to Bayeux. And the reason we stayed in Caen is it was just a better bargain for us to stay there rather than Bayeux. Most tours do start in Bayeux, so keep that in mind. But we decided not to do a guided tour. We decided to do our own thing.
Yeah, and I think on top of saving money to do it that way, we weren't pressed for time and their schedule on a public tour. We could tour it at our own pace.
And the tours we found on booking.com ranged anywhere from like $140 upwards per person. So once we got to Bayou, we were going to attempt to catch a bus out to Omaha Beach or to the American Cemetery. But unfortunately, this bus, number 120, only runs like 3 times a day, 3 or 4 times a day, and we had already missed it. So we did have to pay for a taxi, and it was $55 to get us out to the €55 to get us out to the American Cemetery, which was just a short distance, like 8 miles.
Yeah.
Now, we're walking in here to the complex itself, and let me just say that a lot of people, as we were waiting, I noticed walked past this museum that's here in the gray building. Do not do that if you come. Make sure that you go in here. It is a well-designed museum. It looks like just a small building, but the museum part of it, most of it is underground.
Right.
And there's a lot of history here. There's a movie theater where they showed a film. It was a very good experience, and I felt bad for the people who just walked past it and missed all that information.
They were just walking past going on to the cemetery, but there's a lot of exhibits, and like you said, a movie theater, and a lot of stuff to see.
This is the last alerting announcement from Supreme Headquarters, Allied Expeditionary Force, General Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Soldiers, sailors, and airmen of the Allied Expeditionary Force, you are about to embark upon the great crusade toward which we have striven these many months. The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you.
This is actually the museum of the Visitor Center, and it's a deeply personal experience. The exhibits walk you through the story of D-Day, but instead of just dates and strategy, it focuses on the people. The video or the movie that they play there, it lasts about 10 minutes, and it talks you through the lives. I think it was 3 different soldiers. It was a very powerful movie, and if you go, make sure that you go inside the theater and sit down and listen to that. You'll also see letters written home, photographs of young soldiers, and hear real voices describing what it was like to land on Omaha Beach. The visuals are very powerful, life-size images that make you feel like you're right there, facing the chaos and the uncertainty that they endured. But what's hardest is the focus on sacrifice. You begin to connect names and faces and stories, and while you're walking through the exhibit, you'll hear names being read out over the sound system, and those are actually the names of the service members buried here, over 9,000 of them. And one of the first things you're going to see as you walk out of the museum is this view of Omaha Beach. It is kind of surreal to stand here and see how beautiful it is, knowing what a horrific day it was back on D-Day and what those soldiers must have faced as they came off those boats and out of those planes, and whatever way they got here, it was definitely different than what you see today.
It's hard to describe how peaceful this place seems today. As we walk up these steps at the Normandy American Cemetery, you don't quite see it yet, but you can feel it. And then suddenly it opens up, row after row of white crosses, perfectly lined, stretching across the hillside above Omaha Beach. Each one marks a life lost, a story that ended here in 1944. After hearing their names inside, this moment hits differently. It's no longer just history, it's personal. And standing here, overlooking the very beach they fought for, it's hard not to pause and take it all in.
Seen a lot of pictures, seen a lot of videos. Never thought I'd see it in person. And I have to say, it's totally different in person than anything I've experienced before.
I just think it's amazing to be somewhere where you read in history books and never thought you'd have a chance to see, but then you get here and you just see the amount of grave markers. I think there's like 9,000 soldiers from the United States buried here overlooking the beach area. It's humbling.
Yeah,
Very humbling.
you wonder about a lot of young people today if they really recognize what a sacrifice our military made for the world and for the United States. Not only in this battle, but all battles that we've faced.
Yeah. Well, it's just the sheer number of, on just June 6, 1944, 9,000 Americans died right here.
Yeah. Just beyond the rows of crosses, you'll find something else pretty powerful. It's a statue, and it's called Spirit of American Youth Rising from the Waves, a symbol of sacrifice, courage, and the cost of freedom. Just behind it, you'll find the Wall of the Missing, where over 1,500 names are engraved, men whose remains were never found or identified. Some of those names now have a small rosette beside them, marking those who were later identified, but many are still missing. It's a sobering reminder some families never got closure, only a name carved in a stone. These maps show the D-Day landings and the Allied push through Normandy, from the beaches like Omaha all the way inland as troops moved to liberate France. All right, so we are exiting the museum and going through a green gate here. And supposedly you can walk down to Omaha Beach from here. But even the taxi driver told us it's about a 50-minute trek down. So I guess we're gonna see.
As we make our way down the path towards the beach, you start to see more pieces of history come into view. Along the way, there are small monuments marking key moments from D-Day. And then, tucked into the hillside, you'll find something even more striking, actual German bunkers. You can walk right inside them, standing in the same positions where defenses once overlooked the beach below. It really puts into perspective what Allied forces were up against. But a quick heads up, this is not an easy trek. The path is steep in places and the climb back up can be challenging, especially after spending time exploring. So come prepared with good shoes, take your time, and plan for the climb. It's absolutely worth it.
In the distance there is Point du Hoc, and that's another big area for people to go and visit. But actually, from what we understand right now, part of it or all of it is closed. We're not sure for renovation, but that's where we were reading that the forces were scaling the sides of those cliffs down there to get up, and we heard about 50% of them were successful in launching their ropes up to the top of that down there. So you can see that bunker that we were just at, and then the one to the left of it. That and hundreds more were waiting on our forces as they landed on the beaches, so you can see why it was such a bloody battle for sure. As far as family connection to this area, my dad was in World War II, but he was a tanker, and I don't believe was ever in this area particularly. He really didn't talk about it, so I don't know a whole lot of details. But we did have a neighbor, and Russell's going to tell you one of the stories that he told him and our son when we lived in Martin, Tennessee.
Yeah, his name was W.W. Sterling, and I remember he knew that we were big history buffs, and we would go over and visit with him, and he wouldn't talk a whole lot about it, but he did say he could remember coming in. He was on a Navy ship. He was in the Navy, and when he come in, he was here in Normandy, and he said he could remember the sky filled with smoke, and he said the water was red with all the blood. He said he would never forget that. And I just, hearing all that just makes you, you read about all this stuff in the school books and stuff. It just, it's like I said, it's humbling to be here and see where the world turned on that day. So many people lost their lives, but good prevailed.
We'll give you another tip here. We have been out here, and so far, right here at the cemetery, we have not seen anywhere to purchase water or anything like that. So make sure that you bring that with you if you're planning to be here for a little while. And there are several places to have a sit down just on a stone or a rock on the facing over Omaha Beach there, so it'd be a great place for a picnic, but obviously make sure that whatever you bring with you, you take back with you, and don't leave any trash around. As our day at the Normandy American Cemetery in Omaha Beach came to an end, we made our way back down the road to the Overlord Museum and the bus stop. The Overlord is just under €10 to visit, but since we were on a time constraint to catch the bus, we were not able to go inside. Our taxi driver from the morning did tell us that it is an excellent museum. While we waited for Nomad Bus 120 to take us back to Bayeux, we took a moment to check out the tanks and other vehicles outside, real machines that were part of the battle that changed history. It's a quiet, reflective way to close the day, seeing history up close and appreciating the scale of what happened here in June of 1944. As we rode back on the bus, the countryside rolled by, small villages, quiet farmland, and the communities that saw so much during the D-Day invasion. Bayeux itself holds a special place in history. It was the first town liberated by Allied forces, and remarkably, it was largely spared from bombing. The reason? Its beautiful medieval buildings and the cathedral made it a cultural landmark, and the Allies wanted to preserve it intact. Looking out the window at the peaceful villages today, it's hard to imagine the chaos that unfolded here just over 80 years ago. The ride gave us a chance to reflect on the courage, sacrifice, and resilience of the people who lived through it and those who fought to free them. So, in wrapping up, we spent a total of $112 American today on doing this tour ourselves. And as we mentioned at the beginning of the video, that may not be what you choose to do, but that's what we wanted to do because we are traveling on a budget.
And it still worked out cheaper than just one, ticket for a public tour or a guided tour.
And that $112 American does include the round trip train ticket from Caen to Bayeux, and then it also included our taxi ride from the train station in Bayeux out to the cemetery in Omaha Beach area, which was a little bit pricey, but we didn't really have any option on getting out there. And then the bus ride back to the station. If we didn't mention it earlier, Omaha Beach and the American Cemetery are all free. There's no cost there. So that was a great experience. And that museum top notch as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I really enjoyed seeing all the exhibits and the movies that they had there.
Okay, so I guess we're going to wrap it up. It's been a long day, it's been an emotional day, and we really appreciate you all coming along with us. We hope you've enjoyed it, and as always, thank you for watching. Make sure and hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. And we'll just close this out by saying have a blessed day and safe travels.